42, a pig surprise.
We see the return of Pudgy Pig.
Yeah, food fight many years ago.
What happened?
Yeah, that was Joe's reaction back then, but this episode is better, if that means anything.
It is, and also isn't. This episode is definitely weird because it's definitely symbolic of, oh crap, we're running out of stuff to use.
They ran out, is more like it.
They ran out of stuff, in that they are literally now reusing monsters.
Pudgy Pig, one of the few monsters we had a costume of for original footage.
And I can tell why they gave it up. It's not a great costume.
It's, more or less one that was less complex and easier to ship overseas.
It's basically just a pig in a Roman helmet with its arms in its mouth. It's not that complicated of a design.
Well, instead of a monster with a series of food fights, episode starts in the park where the Rangers, I guess, are volunteering at some kind of pet fair.
An adopted pet,
that's actually a really
volunteer organization.
That's actually a really popular thing right now. There's a shortage of owners.
Yeah, no, and it makes a lot of sense, especially post-COVID. A lot of folks realized they needed companionship, so they bought animals. But then they realized, they couldn't always take care of them, so naturally it led to some not so nice things. But that's way beyond the scope of our video here.
Well, they help a lot of people find pets, and Bulk and Skull show up. Ironically, not to cause antics, but because they want a pet too. Something different and cool, just like them.
And right before Bulk and Skull show up, this old woman comes up with a pig named Norman that she wants to take care of. And it's very obviously that there's something going on with this old woman.
Oh, can't you please help me? Oh.
And
it's a fat pig.
It gets revealed that Zach sees that the old lady was in fact a putty in disguise.
Yeah, when putties are in disguise, they can talk normal.
So they then find this weird device, and it turns out that this device would transform Norman into Pudgy Pig.
Yeah, yep. I guess you could argue that's the explanation as to how he came back.
And the thing is, they do mention, the return of Pudgy Pig, but it's not really Pudgy Pig. Pudgy Pig acted very differently in Food Fight.
Yeah.
And really, Norman, which is the monster of the week, this is actually one of those moments where, Bulk and Skull are actually kind of pleasant. They're not bothering anyone. They're not really hurting anyone.
Yeah.
They're just taking care of their pet pig.
Yeah. When they wanted a pet, Norman came out from under the table, and it kind of looked like they were making fun of him, but Bulk and Skull just quickly ended up liking Norman.
Right, which it's sweet. It's nice to see Bulk and Skull outside of their bonds of just being bullies.
They brought the pig to school, tried to make it do tricks, and the only one it could do was, Norman, stand there and ignore me.
Which, great joke. Wonderful joke.
At the juice bar, they brought it and tried to use him to pick up a girl, and it almost worked.
It almost worked, but then Norman transformed into Pudgy Pig, which then led to this really fun sequence where Bulk and Skull had to feed Pudgy Pig in order to escape.
Yeah. They're at first sweet, don't you recognize us? We're your parents. And Zach shows up, say you gotta feed it, and Bulk's reluctant to give up his sandwich.
But the thing that really, that up to that point, the episode is solid. It's really good. I like it a lot. Right around that point, where Pudgy Pig disappears from the juice bar, is where I think this episode really falls flat.
Yeah. The Rangers don't really want to destroy the monster because it's still Norman under there, so I guess Rita used a real pig to do this.
I guess. They sort of did that thing of, I guess they used Norman as, the physical manifestation to recreate Pudgy Pig,
Well,
but it's still Norman, and they realize when they track Norman down to a pig farm, where he basically is spending all of his time hitting on a female pig.
I bet whoever was in the costume had a field day with that.
Oh, absolutely. That dude had
Well,
the best time.
as far as Ranger fights go, let's say Zach got a solo fight in the woods against putties, and when they morphed, they reused the same fight scene from Food Fight. Part of it. And the whole plot, Rita's whole plan was Pudgy Pig returning was all just a big distraction so Goldar could grow and destroy the city.
Which accomplishes nothing, because once the Rangers realize that Pudgy Pig, or Norman, isn't going to hurt anybody and is really just trying to get laid, it means that there's not, like, they can basically leave him alone and just focus on Goldar, which they then whoop his behind.
Yep, Scorpino's there briefly while they're short, and then we get a Megazord fight, like, drawn out. They have a new shot of all the Rangers saying, "I summon my Zord!" And I'm pretty sure it's the same fight they saw in the first episode.
I feel like it is, because they even used the initial Power Sword, like, reveal where it's still, like, covered in lightning and stuff.
Yeah, although they called it the Megazord again.
They called it Mega Sword again. They defeat Goldar. Goldar comes in and says, "Next time I'll defeat them," which, he always says.
Yeah.
And then we see Pudgy Pig turned back into Norman. It gets revealed that the farmer that owned the female pig adopted Norman. Happy ending for Norman.
Yeah.
And then we see the principal declare that he's filling in for Miss Appleby, which, if you guys remember from last episode, Rita's Seed of Evil, we noticed and made a point of how off that seemed. That why was the principal filling in where Miss Appleby is the normal science teacher? Which makes me think in initial production, A Pig Surprise was supposed to be the episode that preceded Rita's Seed of Evil.
These episodes were filmed like simultaneously, and it wasn't meant as a serial series, so.
I know, but it makes me wonder if A Pig Surprise was supposed to be episode 41, and Rita's Seed of Evil was supposed to be 42, and people just didn't want Pudgy Pig to be the first monster after Doomsday.
Well, it's relevant, because both of them just use Megazord, no Dragon Zord or any reference. And it does, in fact, end with another Vulcan skull gag, but this time I felt bad for them.
Yeah, like this episode, one of the things I've never liked is when a character gets comeuppance when they haven't done anything to warrant the comeuppance. Vulcan Skull didn't hurt anyone in this episode. The
worst things they did was bring a pig into school and the juice bar, which isn't allowed, but they didn't do it to cause a ruckus.
They wanted to spend time with their pet, which, I get.
And Principal has a lecture plan, and he brought another pig in. I was kind of hoping that would have been Norman, and they would have had a reunion, but no, it's a new pig, and Vulcan Skull see it and freak out. And everyone laughs, haha, the end.
And as someone with a phobia, it's not fun. It's not fun dealing with phobias. So
yeah, I have a phobia of dogs, since it's really a burden. I don't like seeing other people suffer from theirs.
Yeah, bugs and spiders on my regard. So, it's not fun.
They love the pig, and now they're traumatized from that experience. That's not something to laugh at them about. I know they're still technically, like, the bullies at this point. Just another dozen or so episodes of that.
And I think ultimately it kind of is indicative of the fact that the primary focus of this episode is on Norman and Pudgy Pig. But then the episode, right in the halfway point, swipes all that away and goes, nope, that was actually all completely pointless. Goldar's the bad guy. And it ends up making this episode feel halfway good.
Yeah.
So I think I've got to give it a 2.5 out of 5. Half of the episode was great. The other half was kind of pointless.
I don't remember, I think we gave Food Fight a 2, so I'll give it a 2.5 as well, just because it was technically better.
It was half of a great episode.
Yeah. What can you do? Next time will be something fishy.
Episode 43, and we're still kind of, I guess, in that
weird in between
between Zhu and Doomsday. So I think a lot of these episodes are probably going to be this sort of middling, average, below average quality episode. I guess we'll see next time on, again, Something Fishy.
Yeah, and we're not being goofy. That's the name of the episode.
Anyway, see you guys next time.
Later.
Emerald Rangers!